Hi there folks, this is Deckard Spade, and we're going to be talking about Do Princesses Dream of Magic Sheep? Now, you guys are going to learn I am a Luna fanboy. I like Luna because she has some of the most defined characteristics of all of the princesses. Well, maybe not all of the princesses, but Princess Purple Smart doesn't count. She just got her wings, and she's still learning how to be a princess. Now, I believe Princess Luna isn't the most developed when it comes to personality. She's not that good at talking, and in this episode especially, she tends to be guilty of exposition leaking. Though one person could argue that this is part of her character traits. I mean, she is 1,000 years old, a little antiquated and unsure of herself, and she tends to blame herself for a lot of the actions that she had in the past. I guess what I want to find out is, does Luna's character grow from this episode's writing, or does it fall short? Now, this episode is guilty of leaking exposition out the wazoo, so I'm going to let you watch the first moments of the episode, and then we're going to discuss what we think about this.
Greetings, Tantibus. I am ready. Do your worst.
Princess Luna's turning into Nightmare Moon! Again! Yeah, well, we've got the cure for that!
Okay, I told you I was going to let you watch the first part, but I have to say something about this. We are not even a minute into the episode, and it's already giving us exposition about what is going on without knowing what is going on. Princess Purple Smart decides that she's going to start telling people she's turning into Nightmare Moon while she's turning into Nightmare Moon. You already know that you're in for a long haul if they're going to start describing everything to you like you're a 2-year-old. As for what happens next... Was I the only pony that was thinking that the rainbow powers could only be considered something that would be found in Luna's worst nightmares? I mean, we haven't seen them since Tyrek, and, well, I don't think she actually witnessed that.
Wait! What is it doing? No! It's gone!
I was right. This is a nightmare. Just look at all those colors clashing. Now, it's at this point that we learn that the Tantalus was a creature that was existing within Luna's nightmares, and that she has to chase after it in order to try and save all of Ponyville from being overwhelmed by nightmare. And then we end up in a scene where it's prolonged painfully to try and describe what it is that the main six had experienced in their dreams, giving them nightmares right after that had happened. Rather than show us any of the nightmares, it just goes on to say that they had them. So they skipped the first round of dreams and the opportunity to do so just to say that they had the dreams without actually showing them. Though I do guess this is the setup for where you want to insert Luna into the scene, right? Personally, I just thought that this scene was sort of awkward and clunky. It wasn't put together well with pacing. Because not long after they go into the exposition, everybody's in bed, and they're about to show everybody's dream sequences. But not without giving exposition as to what the plan is after they have already gotten to bed. And you'd think that that would be enough exposition so that you can watch the visuals and let the story tell itself from that point on. No. And that's not to say that this episode doesn't have redeeming qualities, but it happens over.
But that means the Tantibus could be turning every dream in Ponyville into a nightmare!
It is far worse than that. Infecting all those dreams gives it more and more power. Soon it will be able to escape into the real world and infect Equestria with its nightmare plague.
And over.
There is no time for bowing, my friends. There is something coming. Something terrible. No, it is already here.
And over.
Come on! If that Tantibus thing turns any more of this dream against us, we'll be too busy saving ponies to catch it. And it'll grow powerful enough to escape into the real world.
To the point where you want to plug your ears and just watch the episode. You have to wonder, if they didn't do that, how much time they would have saved that they could have put visual aesthetic in just to show people what was happening.
I followed the Tantibus here. Now I need only find...
Sorry, can't help it.
Hey, how come Pinky gets to skip the exposition? That said, I really did enjoy the visuals from the show when they weren't being talked over. The visuals were the things that redeemed this episode. The dreams themselves, seeing into the minds of both the main six and the background ponies. Ah, Princess Big Mac. You'll always be my favorite male alicorn. Rage-inducing dream canon aside, this is yet another episode in the Season 5 which relies on showing the background ponies and what they can do to help the main six. We get to see imagination in its own corridor, the use of dreams to show logic and abilities which would normally not be seen in the show. But because we understand that this is a dream, we can forgive it, we can look at it, and we can enjoy every aspect of what's being shown to us. The main six and the background ponies share the spotlight in this episode as well, and I really enjoy the fact that they show callback references to the past episodes that we've seen within Season 4 and 5. I personally enjoyed Applejack revisiting her role as Mistress Marvelous. And while some people might disagree with the idea of using the Power Ponies in this episode just to revisit them as some type of merchandise, yes, they are trying to sell them at this time. Celestia knows that it probably would be a lot better than revisiting the Mare-do-well. Now, when all is said and done, this episode just wraps up rather quickly and conveniently. Princess Luna blames herself for the Tantalus becoming so strong and then going out to prey upon ponies in the real world. Because of this, the Tantalus gets bigger. Then we have more exposition. Yes, they still are telling you what's happening as you're watching it. Princess Purple Smart realizes that the Tantalus is feeding off of the princess's guilt, and then you end up getting the episode's moral. You shouldn't blame yourself for your past actions if you've chosen to learn from your mistakes and become something different. Princess Luna then accepts who she is and then has a good night's sleep as a result of not blaming herself for her past actions. Now, does this episode hold up? I would place it as one of the ones that does show development for Luna. It is a Luna episode, and it has more focus on her than on the main six. However, this episode also suffers greatly from having themselves monologue what it is that they see at the time that it happens. Remember what I said about treating people like they're 2 years old? Yes, this is a children's cartoon, but it was designed so that both adults and children could enjoy it at the same time. And when it comes to dealing with children, anybody who's actually raised children or has talked to children or has worked with children know that children are not just 2 years old and then suddenly teenagers. Children grow in development and they learn from example and from watching things. When you choose to dictate and explain everything to them as it's going on, you don't let them draw their own conclusions. So for an episode that's meant to be on the idea of creativity and imagination in dreaming, it really falls short when it comes to letting people have their own imagination and draw their own conclusions. Because of this, the message that it tries to deliver is stifled from the fact that it has force-fed to the person rather than letting them watch it unfold. So yes, the episode's fun to watch for its visuals, but it ultimately suffers and gets dragged down by the wording and constant monologuing of the characters on a level that is disrespectful to even a 2-year-old. And to be honest, I feel bad for having to talk about the episode and how things happened in it because I'm repeating everything that they said, so you're hearing a third-person monologue about the episode as it was supposed to be watched. So for now, I think I'm done talking. I do want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thank you for staying a while to listen.